Hello, everybody. This is Victor from Trend Following Trading for Beginners. And today is New Year's Eve, and I wish everybody a happy and prosperous New Year. Since today is New Year's Eve, I thought I'm going to do something different and look ahead and see, from my point of view, some of the major topics from 2019 and how it's going to play out in 2020 and how it may affect our trading approach in 2020. But please note, all the information from this podcast are my own opinion, and it's not advising anyone to do anything. These are just my opinion I'm sharing with, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to share with you how my thought process and what I'm about to go trade in 2020. That's all. So enjoy. Okay, first off the bat, basically is of course the U.S. and China deal, trade war, trade deal, whatever, however you call it, it's been on the people's mind. I think, for mine anyway, for the past year and a half. And look at how U.S. initially said, we just don't like the deals as we're making a trade deal with China. I want to do something about it. Look at the deficit between the two countries, and then what? Then later turned out to be more like a trade war. Donald Trump got around the world putting tariffs on everybody. First to Canadians, and then the Mexicans and Europe and China, and just like firing shots at everyone. But obviously, the biggest of all this, and that's still ongoing, and hurting every other countries really between China and America. And this week they're supposed to sign something apparently, but nothing much happened. There's no details coming to the market, and then suddenly Donald Trump just tweeted about an hour or so ago, said he is going to sign some sort of a trade agreement with China on the 15th of January in 2020. And this type of thing is like there is all this ongoing trade war, and basically how we go to, me mortals or our little retail traders, what we're going to do, how we're going to trade. Suddenly Donald Trump just going to say something, and then I thought that was a positive. Hey, finally they're definitely going to sign something now. But Dow Jones seems to all come down. I don't know what else going on. I suppose people was like trade, move the market, trade the rumor, so to speak, and then sells the facts. So now the facts coming out. But even 15th of January, even though from Donald Trump, it might still change. Who knows what they agree or not? I mean, China and the U.S. agree to sign anything or not? Because so far, China is still, I think, I haven't read the Chinese side of news yet. It's still relatively quiet. There's nothing come out from America either about what type of deal they're going to sign, what is the amount of things they may be purchasing from China, from America. There's nothing details coming out, and I just see how it goes. But definitely, it's just moved the market. I mean, Donald Trump need to treat and just things around. So in 2020, basically, as far as I'm concerned, especially December 15 was this smoke screen of possible trade one deals announcement to say China have done something, and then Donald Trump basically removed the tariffs on the 15th. Basically, from my point of view, I think all this is just smoke screen. Donald Trump knows this extra 10 or 15% of extra tariffs that's supposed to put on Chinese imports are basically all deal with computers, toys, consumers products, and he put the tariffs on. It's going to affect everybody in America, and not just business. So far, this the tariffs was supposed to put on the 15th went ahead. If they've gone ahead, then definitely going to hurt a lot of consumers' confidence. Okay, not right away, because all this, whatever product is selling for Christmas and New Year is already imported right away. But then going forward, it'll be one hell of a pain for American importers as well, going forward, because 2020 will be quite devastating for them. And of course, it's Donald Trump I don't believe he dares to sign that. He already pissed off the farmers, and it's not going to piss off the other consumers as well. His 2020 is the election year. He's definitely going to try and make something or make it looks like seems to be something's happening between China and U.S. trade war. I mean, remember this whole thing started off with America going around and putting tariffs on for everybody, China including. Keep on saying China has been what do you call his name? He say what he's been raping America, taking money from America for a long time and stuff. But hey. From our point of view, I know. I mean, I'm from Hong Kong, China. I'm Chinese from Hong Kong, living in UK. Okay, there's problem internally in China, and there are things that you need to change. But remember where Chinese come from about 50 years ago, for like 30 years ago. Still closed door, and it's opening up. And America has helped China to go into World Trade Organization, admitted into World Trade Organization, and all over the world, especially America, has benefited from cheap labor in China, and the products that you're selling into around the world, especially China, America as well. The products sort of improved over time, and it's much cheaper than actually try to create the same product within US because of minimum wage regulations and so forth. And obviously, I mean, purchasing manager in America and from around the world just going around everywhere to find cheap products sell back in their own country. For America, for instance, they found it's cheaper to go Southeast Asia, in this case China, and even including shipping costs and all taxes, import and other things, and still cheaper than doing it in America. So when Donald Trump actually said, trying to move the job back to U.S. and make America strong again, yeah, they can. They can actually get people to buy American produce, make it America, so to speak. But is American people ready to actually say, yeah, I'm going to buy American products from now on. I don't want to buy from another country, even though I have to pay a bit more. I mean, to be honest, normal people, they I don't know what is the the increase in wages in America, but if it's anything similar to UK, we just very moderate, not much, 5% maybe, maybe 3%, and you got tariffs 10-15% if it got slapped onto what people to buy generally, and it'll be causing a lot of inflation, and people won't be able to buy it. And if you want to buy it from America and everything costs 10%, even 10% more, they would choose to say, no, I'm not buying American because it's too much, or buy less, okay, that kind of thing. And it's definitely not good for Chinese economy. I mean the U.S. economy. So in the sense that people might buy America, fine, go ahead. But people also think, can I afford it? And it's unlikely. Some of the people will definitely buy Americans. That's just they are. But a lot of people just couldn't afford it, and then you're trying to find alternative. And there will always be market for cheaper source stuff. Toys, clothes, computers. Maybe not from China, say Malaysia, Singapore. You never know, from Vietnam or Cambodia, those kind of places. They just want to get similar product at reasonable quality at a cheaper price. Consumer around the world wants that. American is not the only one, but it's just Asia is much more of a hub to producing those things, and it's much easier to buy them from overseas than produced in America. So I mean, this trade war thing is not going to be good for anyone, and this trade deal is definitely, I don't know, whatever they're going to be signed, hopefully on 15, hopefully will be good for both countries or around the world as well. But there's just no details here so far. The Americans say China is agreed to buy 40 to 50 billions of agricultural products and services. They never talk about much about IT theft, banking reform, forced transfer of technology, those kind of things that American president has been saying for quite some time, and say try to force China to do something. But on the other hand, China knows he's had his own problem. He's playing for time, to set internally itself, correct, in the right way, so that it can, opens up and then slowly open it up and let foreign competition comes in. Because at the end of the day, if the local industry is not ready, foreign competitors going to come and just go global to market, and what, the China's basically lose control. I don't think that would be a good idea. They definitely quite certain what type of things being opened up and have good control on the market, whatever the market it is. Because remember, China has been humiliated 100 years ago, 100, 200 years ago, 150 years or so ago, when the Allied army went into China and raided the place, Forbidden City, burned down the place, ransacked the stuff, a lot of Chinese things has been basically stolen, and you can see them in UK here. You can go to the National Museum, you can see some Chinese stuff that's not given to UK. It was taken from around the world. So I'm sure it's on US as well. I mean, China remembers it. Last time when they were weak, people try to force China into doing things and so forth. I mean, look at Hong Kong. Why is there Hong Kong? Because there was Opium War. And why was there Opium War? Because UK, Great Britain at the time, is selling opium into China, and China government in the time, Southeast Asia, doesn't like it, of course, and then fight the British and lost, 2 wars, and then the Chinese government at the time being forced to sign some trade deal, basically, give up part of Hong Kong on 2 occasions, basically rented out to UK for 100 odd years or something, and then then developed Hong Kong as a seaport, to trade in Southeast Asia, so and trade into maybe into China, that kind of thing as well. But nobody talks about that. But Chinese remember it, and then suddenly you have American try to force China to do things. China have its own internal problem. It is not same as the West. Haven't got a similar Western style setup, but it's very socialistic, because that's just how it is, how it's set up. But it's open up the market. It's capitalist as well, and then try to sell to around the world, then come back and take money from around the world, earn money by selling things, around the world. And to trade, Chinese just like to trade. China just like to make money, than going to war or tell everybody what to do, kind of things, and. But they do remember what happens in old days, and they be careful what other foreign countries try to force China to do things. It will open itself up. That's my belief, and it is already doing slowly, but it has got a lot of internal issues like corruptions and a lot of relationships, so to speak. Being Chinese, they talk about relationship a lot, so a lot of things need to sort it out. It's not very open up, and because a lot of things being covered up as well. So banking industry got a lot of bad debts, so it's a lot of developments that's overdeveloped. Like you probably saw it on YouTube about Gold City, overdeveloped buildings, and nobody actually lived there. It's enough to support the Chinese growth for the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever big funny numbers they put out, but just basically just overdeveloped, and therefore there's a lot of bad loans going around, and Chinese government trying to resolve this, and also internally the industry is not ready for open up for massive external competition. The cars may be ready there, that's why Tesla went in there, but let's say financial services, insurance, they're not that there yet. So they probably open up, but more and more controlled way, rather than just what the foreign countries, the US in particular, just say open up, open telecommunication, open up finance. But those are important industries for any countries, and just look at open up. But yes, you could do it slowly, but on Chinese timetable. But and also all this talk about forced technology transfer. Remember, when China first opened up its market, all they have is just a lot of laborers, and they have no idea what to do. They require foreign country bring in their technology, their know-how, and build up the infrastructure for them in China, and then in China export to other countries, back to US and stuff, and learn the trick of the trade, so to speak. So the Chinese at the time rely heavily on foreign know-how, and of course they learn it, but they're not going to continue just learn just from foreigners. They will probably come and innovate, and just like Japan used to do, have their own industry and try to build themselves up. But of course, it takes time, this kind of thing, and so people talk about forced transfer of technology. I think at the start you have to, because they don't know anything. But then the Chinese government also want to protect themselves. They don't just want to do whatever the foreigners say. They, a lot of time at the start, most likely is listening to what other people's already done, following their examples into what the foreigners said. But when you go forward slowly, there's some innovation. You build things up instead of just give everything in the foreigners' hand. There will be some joint ventures. But of course, being Chinese, I mean, the Chinese government don't want to just give up everything to foreigners. They will have want better control. So that's why I think there's like in China, you in certain industry, you cannot own 100% of a company. The Chinese have the own 15%, and foreigners own 49%. But a similar thing if you go to Malaysia or some other country, you're not allowed to buy land. Or Thailand, you can only own certain percentage, and just they're there to protect their own countrymen. And China is no different. It's just like Saudi Arabia try to buy some seaport, port in America got rejected by White House because of security concern. Those kind of things. It all goes around, but to basically ask China to basically open up very quickly, not to do silly things, it will do so, but over its own timetable. So this is a frustration I can see, from all the foreigners going to China, to basically say, why did it open up? Why are you doing things and so forth? They really there's issue. Yet there's a lot of copying going on. Alibaba in China was having a fight with some of the duplicate people who basically counterfeit stuff, and and China want to fight those as well, and it wants to create IPs for like Huawei. They want to protect it around the world. They're slowly going up there, but it takes time. When they're ready, they do so. But of course any country would do it. They probably do it some advantage for their own country, but they will still go open it up. So I think overall, this Chinese deal, the U.S.-Chinese trade war, whatever deal is going on, it's got to It's got to happen, but it's got to take some time. And then of course, with history playing along with it, the Chinese just got to move forward slowly. So might not necessarily what the American wants to do, but they will open up slowly. But also, if foreign countries, in this case America, want to force its will onto China, I think China just got to push back. I think that's what happened with this trade deal, back and forth. If there's something that's agreed, to translation or from translating to English and Chinese to English would be relatively quick. Within a month it will be done. And last time when the Chinese delegate went to White House, that was in October, wasn't it? They say, okay, we will have signed something by end of the year, but nothing details comes out. There's some discussions, and they still couldn't come up with text. And this date, 15th of January, still hasn't gone anything yet. So you haven't got any text details and stuff, and it's just difficult for anybody to find out what actually being talked about between the two countries. Those kind of things. And also, from what we know so far is that Donald Trump said China has agreed to buy 40 up to maybe 50 billions of agricultural products from America, but this is just one-off, over 1 year or 2 years or what? China has already said it's not going to buy anything unless it's really needed themselves. Like China at the moment has, if you have read some news around the world, they have African swine flu problem. So half the pigs gone, and basically like chicken flu last time, and they have killed half of the pork, the pig stock, and of course, the pigs eat, soya meals. And Chinese use the soy for oil as well as making soy sauce and making soya drinks and so forth. And then the rest just give the pigs to eat those kind of things. So, but since the pigs are gone, half of the population gone. It's what they have to do at the moment, which I think they're doing that now in China. Basically, we moved the tariff to basically on American pork imports and import those kind of the ports from America, because only America, so to speak, has enough enough what you call product to actually sell into China. Remember, China and America were big countries to feed all these Chinese people. China probably can't source everything from one place. Okay, America have a lot of pork produce, but I don't think it's enough to cover Chinese need. But given the problem with the swine flu, they come out, the Chinese come out and just buy as much as you can with the America counterpart, and just try to fill up its stock, so to speak, because it has been devastated by the swine flu. It has been using internal stock to basically frozen pork to release back in the general public to let people eat, but then they have to replenish those from other countries. And if America is ready to sell them and Chinese have the needs, they will buy it. But I'm not sure about 40 billions or 50 billions, because Chinese can only eat so much, right? Even though they put some in reserve, how much is that? I don't know. The maximum Chinese been buying from America was what? 27 billion, and now suddenly, let's say even 30 billions, you're talking about 40, 50 billions here. From what Donald Trump is saying, can Chinese actually buy that much? And okay, maybe 1 year, but continue all the time? I don't think so. I mean, how long this 40, 50 billions is for? Is it spread over 10 years? Is it spread over 2 years, 6 years, 5 years? There's not much of a details here. So nobody knows about that one. And when they say agricultural products and services, which one? Okay, I mean, Donald Trump famously in October said, hey, U.S. farmers, go and buy some more land, more equipment, hire more people, get ready for selling products in China. And the thing is, this kind of thing haven't been signed, the trade haven't been signed, the deals haven't been published, so the U.S. farmer doesn't know how much actually been agreed between the two countries. And then even if you say 40, 50 billion, as what Donald Trump said, can U.S. farmer ramp up the production that quickly? If we cannot, what does that mean to the pork, soya, beans, and agricultural produce that China has to buy from America? Let's say China's agreed to buy 40 billions, and U.S. can only produce 30 billion. Let's say over 2 years, that 10 billion deficit, is who's going to supply that? Is America going to buy from, I don't know, Mexico or Canada or another country or Argentina to supply those? And will Chinese put a clause in there, say if America cannot supply this much, then next year I'm not going to buy, I'm going to buy much less amount or something, some get out clause of them. What does that mean? And also, that's only just talking about if America can produce and source them. But this is agricultural product grow on the outside in the elements. What happens if there's a major drought? What happens if there's a lot of weather issue or hurricanes? I don't know. I don't know the area in America. What does that mean? And if everybody's trying to supply to China, what does that mean to the price around the world for the pork, for soybeans and agricultural produce in America, as well as in around the world? What is that going to happen? It's going to cause a lot of price rise around the world. What does that mean for everybody going to 2020? Does that mean there's big inflation coming in America or around the world? I don't know. It's just funny. Also, while this trade deals negotiating going on with tariffs fighting each other, so to speak, China is going to source. It's already happening. Source is agricultural product from Mexico, from Argentina, and other countries. So while the fight between China and U.S. going on, China still need to eat. So what happened? They source from another country. Now, if China is going to sign a deal with America, they're not going to just stop, importing from the other new countries. Say, for example, from Argentina or Mexico, they will continue to do that from Brazil. They will just continue to import those because they know America can turn around, on its dime to put some tariffs on. Okay, it might be just Donald Trump doing that, but it knows that America has that power to do that, and then China have to safeguard itself. So just like any other businesses, if one supplier play up, as a major supplier, what is the client gonna do? They just go to source. They require products from another place and spread the requirement around. So one major supplier become less major. If it's, let's say they have an issue, let's say they cannot supply due to whatever earthquake, whatever, they got other backups, suppliers to help them to supply their needs. So same thing here. China is not going to rely on America we are importing the produce after a period of time, so to speak, and it's going to spread the what they need to a lot of different places and buy from different places. So for trade around the world is great, but for America, now it won't be great because whatever is Americans producing will spread around to different countries now. Okay, it's just doing in America. It just same as back in 2007, when basically American and the European market tanked. Chinese at the time, I think, exporting 50% of its produce to outside world. They see Western world is not buying things, so they moved from externally export-led into consumer-led. That's why they also try to grow the internal middle class markets, internal market as well. So now they export only, I think about 30% to America or to the world, and basically it's much less export now. And with the same thing here, if this trade deal is signed or going through this next couple of years, hopefully there's comprehensive trade deal that both sides, America and China, can happily deal with. But China will in effect source is what it wants and needs, not just from America, but from Europe, from Latin America, Russia, which I think they already done so, maybe Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, around the world. It won't be just American anymore. So the loss is, I think overall, American farmers will lose out on that front. That's just my 2 cents worth. And you cannot really just force China into buying extra thing, because you already said, I only buy what I need. Okay, you might buy some more just to cover extra, maybe population growth or sickness like swine flu, those kind of things. But you only just buy what is required. It's not going to be forced by another country to say, you must buy this one, I'm going to put more tariffs on you. So let's say China can only consume 40 billions, which sort of gone to what Donald Trump is saying, minimum China must purchase. But if Donald Trump turns around and says you must buy 50 billion, so I'm going to put more tariffs on China, say no, I'm not buy 10 billion US dollar more of produce from America. For what? I don't have the need, and I don't have the place to store them. And is that for a year, 2 years, or what? So it'll be something between, there's some play between the two countries, but China is only going to buy what it needs. It's just common sense, all right? So what does that mean to America? Can America really force China into dealing, taking more agricultural produce? I don't know, but all this at the moment is still talking about agricultural produce. What about the IT thefts that US is talking about Chinese doing, and not having a proper IP law in China to cover them? China is slowly doing that, but it takes time. It's already started this year, I think, or last year, but it's still in infancy, still have to grow that infrastructure and regulation, and also, you say China is forcing people to not allow foreign countries to have 100% ownership in China. Well, they did that in Tesla. They allowed Tesla to have 100% ownership, and the car industry is ready, but other industry may not. So when is that going to happen for our industry? We don't know. Healthcare over there is a big market here in China, as well as financial. But we can all see what Americans have done for their financial services back in 2007, how they spread the financial disease, I would say, around the world. Asia suffered, as well as Europeans. And American basically, dump their toxic stuff to another country, and that's not help in anybody either. So what does that mean for trading then? So as far as I can see, depends on the deal. It go back and forth between China and America, and Donald Trump is going to do some tweets and do announcements. So I think it'll be very similar to what we have. Everybody hoping there's some good deal, the market go up. Suddenly something else happen, market go down. So it's going to be quite volatile, I think, next year for this until we know more details about what's been signed on. And phase two, about IP theft and access to market and also forced transfer of technology. That's got a lot more difficult because that got to hit China's infrastructure, the China's government, how they do things, the rule of law in China, and just like any nation, would America allow Russia or people from Mexico tell American government what to do? No, I don't think so. I think the American government is going to do whatever our government got to do, and the American people is going to vote the people into power. So, same thing here, China. Okay, they might not have open vote, but the Chinese people, Chinese government, is going to do its own thing, in its own terms and conditions. American and other countries might try to force it, but at the end of the day, with history behind it as well, China is not just going to lie down, just take it, and it will just continue to do things. It will open up, but slowly protect itself, its own internal industry, as well try to learn from others and from other mistakes, and have its own brand of so-called capitalism stroke socialism. And it's just going to play out. This is what's going to happen in the next, a few years, hopefully, probably, hopefully less than 10 years, but Jack Ma from Alibaba, I think this trade war will happen the next 10, 20, 30 years or something. But in fact, trade war, so to speak, has happened already ages ago when American produce is going around the world into China, and China tried to protect itself, kind of things. Like for example, Coca-Cola. I remember when I was young, there's no Coca-Cola such thing in China, and that's only like 70s, 80s, and whatever Chinese copy or similar version of it is never as good, and nowadays you see Coca-Cola everywhere, or in China as well, and the local similar Coca-Cola versions is very similar, very nice. There's not still anything, but over time people learn the technology and come up with different brand, slightly different, but that's just how that is. So those are the type of things that's going to happen. So in 2020, as far as trade war is concerned, it's just going to be similar to this year. A lot of back and forth, volatile market, and it's causing quite difficulties for a lot of us how we go to play the market. I mean, the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 is go up and down as usual, and just going to be a quite difficult year, so as I'm concerned. Next is Donald Trump manipulation of the market. He just going to continue to do his things. I mean, from my memory, I think Donald Trump is the only person who really go onto social media, well, the last 10 years or so. I mean, Obama didn't do much about social media, that kind of thing. But Donald Trump basically like to tweet and send out his thoughts. And a lot of time this move markets. So what's going to happen? I don't know. Just continue tweets. And basically we'll see how it goes. And also the other things, we see his tactics as well, how he negotiate with even his own friend, okay, the Canadian as well as the Mexican, as well as the Europeans. And what did he do going around basically? I don't know, we like a cowboy, just my opinion, stirring up troubles, and then because other countries need America, to come up with a trade deal, to do something, Canada and Mexico. But is there any change in those deals from the previous old deal? Not much. But it does raise one question though. Donald Trump seems to be, or America in general, now is going to use his position to bully even his friends, try to get a better deal, so to speak. Okay, maybe just populism, just America have this time come with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's doing this, but it also reflects that because of interrelationship, globalization, and stuff, America have a better trading control in back in American lands. It's causing trouble for Canada, and as well as Mexico, that kind of thing. So you can see quite Donald Trump doing bullying things as well as like the the Paris Accord, as well as the Iran deal. Just came out because they didn't like it. And left European in a lump, and also put tariffs on the Europeans, on I think on the France, on the champagne, the cheese, and so forth, because I think the Boeing or something like that, the Boeing, the basic airplane manufacturer subsidies, that kind of thing in Europe, and you can sort of see that's actually that's going to continue. That's just him. That's his trademark, and he's going to carry that forward to everybody else. I think that's his out of the deal. Just like bully you first, and then later on, do something, try to sweeten the deal a bit, that kind of thing. I don't know how he plays. It's just funny looking from afar. I mean, even Canada is very good trading partner. Can still try to kick Canadian doing things, and I just feel sorry to Canada on that one. So manipulation is just going to continue. Manipulate the market, and then the funny thing for me is when he moves the market, he knows it. What the hell is he doing? The financial regulator, knowing the president comments can move markets, shouldn't they advise the government, advise Donald Trump to stop trading sensitive things or something that move the market? And should he not find him? Look at what Elon Musk did. He just blow his thought. Okay, I'm going to bring my own company back in the private hand. This is how much I might pay for, and these are the companies I have some finance set up. He got smacked for that. But when Donald Trump say, I'm going to put tariffs on, this is not good, it's moving the market. Oh, put the tariffs back off now, everything's fine now. And then suddenly say something else on the tweets. It's moving the market, not just in the US, it's around the world as well, because into globalization, trading relationship. Who's going to slam on his hand and say stop? So I think it's quite a bit of double standard, saying all other countries, manipulating its currencies or manipulating its market. I mean, for example, U.S. is saying China is manipulating its currency. Well, as far as I understand, Chinese has, to try to please America and European countries as well, don't want to let the Chinese yuan to fall down too much. Otherwise, we will be, below $1 US dollar to 7 yuan ages ago. But it's kept, above it to like 5 or 6 for years, and basically using its own external currency, try to internal financial ways to pop it up. Now with the trade deal problems, China basically okay, I let it fall. That's why hover around 7 at the moment. Okay, come back up to 6.9 yuan to your $1 US dollar, but still around the 7 mark. If I don't know if Donald Trump's going to put more tariffs on, it's going to put more problem later on, and China is just going to devalue its currency more. So continue from that, Canada. I really feel sorry for Canada this year, because Huawei, and because Canada say Huawei was doing things in Iran, and basically broke his trade deal, whatever, sanctions, and therefore want Canada to basically arrest some the daughter of the owner of Huawei. Basically, I think she's doing financial officer or something for Huawei, and basically retain her and stuck in Canada legal system now. Stay there while she is fighting extradition to to America, and at the same time, China reacted very badly, and basically just, I don't know, true or not, accused some Canadian of spying, doing wrongful things, and 2 Canadians in jail at the moment, and then Canada stuck in between. Hey, what one funny thing here is as well, especially in China and Hong Kong, people talk about it. China and America is going to sign some trade deal. Let's say it happens 15th, as what Donald Trump is saying. What the hell is Canada then? What happened to them? What happened to the 2 Canadians? What happened to Huawei? Still there, as far as I'm concerned. Huawei is still, thorn in the sides for America government, so to speak. So Canada is stuck in between. China and America signing some deal, but Canadian people is in jail in China, suffering. I don't know how much Canadians think of Donald Trump. Also, Donald Trump, kick out the deal or the agreement with Canada and Mexico, and we do the deal, accusing Canada things. I now sign a deal. Hopefully, that things get better. But I think this is a problem for government around the world dealing with Trump, who basically turn around to his friends as well as foreign, just put tariffs on, put sanctions on. So long as America get, or he think what America should get, who cares? But isn't time for every country should work together, but also because Donald Trump reacting so badly around the world in the world stage, should another country be put more protection up as well? But then protection around the world, populism around the world is not good for trade. So I feel very, sorry for Canada. Have to deal with this issue and stuck in between. Canada is the rule of law, just like any other proper country. Good country who has strong rules, but stuck. A trading partner, big trading partner, America, asking for Canadian help. But on the other hand, China is also the biggest market. Remember, everybody know more or less now that China and India has the biggest population, 1.7 billion and 1.2 billion, 1.7 in China and 1.2 in India. These are the markets for the next 50 years, as far as I'm concerned, go to consume a lot more than Western world. Most of the Western world are aging, and Southeast Asians, growing. And purchasing power, spending power will be all in the Southeast Asia area. And if Western world, in this case, Donald Trump, going to piss off China too much, or Canada, worry about pissing off China too much, they might not have access to that market. Just look at the Canada, export seafood into China more or less stopped now. Lobsters and stuff, devastated. Oh, thank you to America, that kind of thing. And overall, whatever the trade deal with China, between America and China is going to be, people need to think. And so I think a lot of European countries leaders are already thinking of, I want to go into the Chinese market. I better not to piss off them too much. And but at the same time, I need to stand up firm for what I believe in. So it's a balance. So it's going to be quite difficult balancing down. So look at American footballers and NFL, whatever, tweet something, one of the manager, and then they got banned. A footballer in UK as well, I think, and then sort of got banned in China. But slowly, the produce, whatever those people get back into China later on. But every time when some people say something bad about the Chinese government or way they're handling things, China's going to react. But everybody still wants to access China, so it's like balancing act. I know China has a lot of problems. Not very good to its own people most of the time. It's just history. That's how it is. We more like in Hong Kong, people believe Chinese more like ants. Just too many of us and just killed us, and Chinese government wouldn't say much. And also they have a feeling in China as well. China people want to stay in China, but the Chinese government is thinking if you move to another country, want to stay in another country, fine. You give up motherland, then stay there. Don't come back. If you die, if something happens to you, don't come to me. You move to another country. That kind of thing, So for us anyway, for the Chinese, one of the things, since I'm born in Hong Kong, one of the fears, how Chinese government react is very different from what other people outside the world think, and this is people now around the world, all the world leaders find out, how difficult it is to deal with China sometimes. On one hand, China is not doing the right thing, and the other, so therefore they voice their concern. On the other hand, foreign countries want to access China, and China basically say, dangle this carrot in front of everybody. You want to come to me? You better tone down your conversation, whatever you're talking about. So in a way, between rock and hard plate, and it sort of show up. Just look at Canada, how difficult it is there have been, and hopefully very soon, if there's some things signed between America and China, America can put something into the deal and help Canada to deal with the two people get basically stay in jail in China. I just really hope this ends well. Okay, next bit is Huawei. Of course, we all sort of read about it last year or so. American government say Huawei, because it's linked with Chinese government and Chinese military, they're bad actors, and therefore we shouldn't buy any of their stuff, and even tell his friends not, or try to pressure, American trading partners, Europe, Australia and Canada and other places, say don't use Huawei kits. But from my point of view, I'm just referring using my own background. I'm a software end-to-end designer for the telecom industry, working in UK, and I think to really to check and make sure the products from, let's say, Ericsson or Nokia are good for purpose and there's no backdoor, in this case Huawei, you can set up a kit just like BT here. They have a network, basically a lab that BT offer other operators, collaborate to set up the 4G or 3G things before network in a lab, controllable lab, and test the equipment, check how things work, how they interact each other. Means the government, local government, each government, let's say UK, can just set up similar thing, which is controlled by the UK government, controlled by UK Secret Service, so to speak, just to make sure, not Secret Service, but the security service to check the security of Huawei equipment, check to its death until it's really check out nothing's wrong with it, and any software update is subject to, for example, by law, to say government approval to have tested it by the security expert before allowed to let install into other operators in UK. You can just do that. So why can't American do this? As far as I'm concerned, is this. From as far as we know, America does hack other countries' network to listen to, I think Edward Snowden was saying that American CIA has been listening into conversation between trade deals in the European country, Angela Merkel's conversation, I think, with France or something, kind of thing. And it's been listening to people around the world, not just America, but other places as well, I'm sure. And it just hasn't been caught, except in what Snowden has been saying. So America just we were likely to hack, and doesn't want to let China know if there's some sort of backdoor. If what they say is true, if China have some backdoor in Huawei equipment, have some sort of backdoor that go back to the Chinese government or Chinese military, and if the American hacker or any other country hack the Huawei kit and software, and Chinese find out, of course one country doesn't want to know the other country is hacking you, kind of things. And so I think that's one of the major point. But American government does go around hacking other people. That's just them. okay, for security's sake, is correct. They want to listen to what's going around for America, but they also use that, I think, to listen to other people, conversation or trades, whatever, to better themselves. They just haven't been caught except Snowden come out and tell people what actually happens. So as far as I'm concerned, America can be bad actor too, you know. The news, I mean, the news media haven't talked much about this kind of thing, especially Snowden come out and say American CIA has been listening to Merkel telephone or UK telephone, you know, those kind of things as well. And then that thing only play out for a couple of days and that's it, everything died down. And then the American government keep on saying Huawei is bad, Huawei is bad, try to force, let's say, Australia, Canada, UK to don't use Huawei kit. I would personally say each country, especially Americans, say to do its own thinking, own checking. Just make sure whatever supplier is good. I mean, even Nokia or Ericsson kit, they're not 100% everything, you know, great everything. They must have some problem too. Each government probably would just fed them. And, you know, before the government were allowed different supply to supply into the country, they must check them and vet them. So in this case for Huawei, vet them all. Just check, just make sure. And I'm sure UK is doing that at the moment. And I'm sure other countries doing that at the moment, and they will just go make their own judgment. But I can see how bullying tactics Donald Trump is doing, as well as the U.S. government saying, you know, don't use Huawei kit. I think very much is linked to China trying to be great, you know, to this 2025 thing to be great on AIs and other digital products or some sort of technology as well. And Huawei communications is linked to it. And basically doesn't want Chinese lead, because especially on this one, Huawei 5G is leading. I think it's about 18 months ahead of everybody else, and especially America, they haven't start up the networks to doing things yet. And Europe is looking into it. I think Samsung has already run some 5G network in South Korea, and China in Huawei using Huawei is already starting to roll out. I think end of this year or something, or early next year, to roll out some 5G kits and have the handset ready. So Asia in general is going to be 5G led. Europe is trying it out, deciding who to use and how it goes. America is still lacking, thinking, you know, and it still do its things later on, and telling everybody else don't buy Chinese, or in this case don't buy Huawei. I think it just go detriment for themselves. But what does that mean for trading sake? I think it's already play out in Hong Kong and China already, because Huawei kit is being rolled out in China. So whatever the manufacturer that supply Huawei with microprocessors and kits for the 5G phone, 5G network, is go to make a lot of money. And that's just Chinese market or Southeast Asia. But also in Europe as well, when 5G is starting to roll out, hopefully next couple of years. And Huawei, if it's allowed to supply, then there will be quite a boom as well. But let's say Huawei doesn't get all the country, of course it won't. Ericsson comes in, Nokia comes in, they may be behind Huawei, but they're still coming in a bit later on with compatible handset to fight about. So I would say the next 2 to 5 years when 5G rolls out, and it'll be quite a bit of market, for chip suppliers, mobile phone handset suppliers, manufacturers, microprocessor kind of thing. Not just American, but a lot of European chip developers and companies will profit from them, and their stock property will be useful to trade on. That's just my point of view. I think 5G is definitely coming in. But going back to my own experience, let's say 3G, even 2G in first rolled out, I remember the old days when everything is still analog. People used to make phone calls in the basement of a building in UK. And then when they moved to 2G, they couldn't make any phone calls, even standing right in front of a mask for certain operators. But and then you have 3G coming through. The 3G handset was supposed to do what YouTube does nowadays. You watch a clip, and you can download very quickly for match of the day. Some penalty shootout or something. Next for 5 minutes play, you can just download very quickly. But that was a dream of 3G. It didn't really happen until end of 3G, 4G area when YouTube comes out. Well, when technology mature. Same thing here for 4G. Yeah, mature, it's got better, but now it got 5G as well. It will take time. So I would say like 5, maybe 10 years when the 5G product basically will be spread around the world. Everybody's using it and mature. And then as this grow, continue, I think that there probably some killer app, much better than YouTube going around and go to make use of the 5G, like car automation, trucks going around, driving by itself. I mean, what Tesla is talking about, probably much more. And satellite talking to each other, going around, defense systems, kind of thing. So in 5G term, and this is another thing about Huawei, it's not just about 5G on Huawei, it's about security in that case. Because the 5G network can be used for military or very fast products, fast communication between different base stations or computers, Internet of Things and stuff using the network. So of course, for America, they want to control that network for themselves. Each country should as well, but I just feel a bit naive and say in America tell everybody else what to do, and other countries accept it. I think each country should just continue and research and make sure that whatever communication setup or kits they rolled out in the infrastructure is being, it's good for purpose for that particular country, not because some other countries say so. So that's just what I think will happen. So I was thinking next 2 to 5 years, 5G's get rolled out. The handset manufacturers, Huawei, Samsung, Android, the kind of thing will be great. The other thing I haven't mentioned is all this putting Huawei on the entity list by America, and Americans stopping Google and other company selling things into Huawei, and only if they back down a bit, but they give like 90 days or 120 days review license. So American government has a say of what Google and should supply to, let's say, Android operating system to Huawei. This only force China in general go developed its own internal technology. Okay, so in this case, mobile phone, mobile communication, they just go develop. Huawei is years away ahead of everybody on 5G, and all this force of not allow Google to supply to China for Huawei's handset. Huawei just go to, or any other local company, it's just go to, China is just going to force itself, use these opportunities to innovate, and basically create its own operating system for handset, for cars, for TV, or whatever. So not to rely on America or foreign operating systems. Okay, and that have a detrimental effect to America, to Google, to those kind of companies as well, because China have its own version now, and with all this trade war going on, Chinese being Chinese, they probably just say, okay, first of all, foreign products be more expensive than Chinese products, and with all this trade war going on, people are more inclined to buy Chinese. So American more prone towards buying American created company produce, and Chinese will do the same. They'll buy Huawei handset, buy Huawei equipment, and those equipment will contain probably some Americans, stuff in it, in chips in it, but they're forcing because of the trade war situation, all this entity list things, just forcing Chinese to innovate and to make better chips and better operating systems for phone, for cars, for computers, and all sorts of things, telecommunication stuff. And they basically then will stop using foreign chips. So at the end of the day, the foreign chip suppliers would lose out. In this case, most likely the American Qualcomms and kind of things. Slowly this will happen. It won't be right away. China still takes time to do things, but Huawei, for example, is spending billions for development, research and development. I'm sure a lot of other company would be doing similar things in China as well, and slowly and surely, China is going to be more self-reliant. And what does that mean? So, this is food for thought American, for the chips manufacturers, and also I think chip manufacturers in Asia, maybe if you trade those kind of trades, people from Hong Kong or Southeast Asia and Singapore, Malaysia, should look into chip manufacturer supply into China, and it's not on the entity list, and something it could well be the things to do for the next 5, 10, 15 years or whatever 20 years as China grow. It's become better. May or may not catch up with America next 20 years, who knows? But it definitely growing its middle class. The middle class is going around the world. You can see them. I'm from UK here. You see them try flying to UK here, going to Bath, where I live in Bath. Basically visiting place around the place. Before we see Japanese, we got Europeans, we got Russians. Now it's the time for Chinese running around here looking at places. So that's things going to be. So this is just my point of view, and I think China, India definitely go be the place to be, and on the place of handset supplying to China as well as India as well, slightly different market because of public income. People want a cheaper handset. So is China. They want cheaper handset as well. So if you reflect that on Apple, for example, Apple is a great product as far as I'm concerned, but it's limited. It's quite limited. Having limitations. Basically, you have to use the ecosystem to order supply kits and stuff, and it's too expensive in general. It's more like it's not commodity. It's a product for the wealthy, so to speak. Okay, handset nowadays, iPhone 11 in UK, of course, almost $2,000 a good one. High end, high spec one. How many people can give $2,000 even in a European country, let alone in Asia? That's why one thing you probably have seen it, the Apple has stopped showing the number of iPhone sale in China, because its share of handset market there is crumbling. It's basically losing out to Huawei and Xiaomi and local competitive full stop. And it used to supply that and show how fantastic it is. And Apple not showing that anymore, the handset sales figures in China anymore. So that sort of tells you something. But the problem is with Apple, one thing I don't quite understand it, why it still continue to go up, because of this trade war going on. A lot of people around the world is not really buying as much Apple products before. Remember when iPhone first came out, iPad, iTunes all comes out. They are very new. They're very different. They are market leaders, so to speak. They're disruptors. That's the word. Yeah, they disrupt the market and have a new way of making phone calls, using the phone as well for recording, for mobile. For videos and kind of things, it's lead the way, so to speak, for music and stuff. But now you look at iPhone, do you really see innovation? Okay, they might have the watch, fantastic. They might be a sort of healthcare product as well as a sideline. But have we got anything great coming out since? This is just my personal opinion. Since Steve Jobs gone, I haven't seen much about that as well. And the sales, I personally believe the Apple's products are overpriced. They talk about it in China as well. In Hong Kong, we sort of know, people. The cost is like $300-400 US to produce in China, yet they sell it to like 2,000 in Europe per handset, and making loads of money. But how many people can spend £2,000, £1,500-3,000 to buy a handset? We not many people can, and I just think overall Apple is overpriced for myself. But this one thing about trend following, you see the Apple price in America is continuing to move up, just same as Dow Jones, even though everybody, including myself, say Apple is overpriced. It's not producing sales iPhone handset sale figures in China. There must be something wrong. It seems the market seems to think there's some other is making money from some other way, and therefore still a good company to buy with, and just continue to go up. It just sort of boggles my mind. So fundamentally, whatever my opinion is, the market say I'm wrong. So what should I do? As a trader, as a trend following trader, I just ride a trend. So as far as concerned, I'm still on Apple. I'm still trading. When the Apple is going up, I continue to go up, and I'm not going to abandon Apple trade until it's trend trades. But if you has been a very patient trader and using just very simple 50 days over 200 days moving average system, you've been tracking it, and you've been making loads of money last year on Apple, on Dow Jones, and so forth. Those kind of things. So that's things like psychology, business psychology, very different from what the markets are actually telling you. And also fundamentally as well. So fundamentalists might say this market is overboard, but the market might continue to move up. What you're going to do as a trader, you're going to just trade, isn't it? Don't you? You just continue, just follow the trend. That's how we trend follow and make money. We just follow the trend. So the next bit is basically just the world trade. I mean, we all know this trade war going on between China and America with the rest of the world, so to speak, putting tariffs on, and also in Middle East as well, with Iran. I mean, World Trade Organization say the world trade in general is going to slow down to what, like 1% for 2021 or 2020. I just don't know how that's going to play out. I personally think America probably will suffer from, because of the trade war, of the import tariffs, which is not the Chinese paying, not the Chinese producer, it's the American importers paying for importing product from China into America. Slowly but surely, I think they will have to, one way or another, either eat the increase in tariff, and which go basically reduce their bottom line, or pass it on to the consumers. So I will see slowly there will be some sort of inflation going on in America, and with the low interest rate and stuff. I don't know what's going on, but it just feels a bit like Japan, stagflation going around. Maybe next few years probably see those happening. And what American gonna do then next? I don't know, but if the world market in general, trading between different countries slowing down, you have thought oil prices have gone down, but for some reason the last couple of months, oil prices continue to move up. It's been sideways. I think early December now, or end of November, it's just gone up. I just quite beyond me. I don't quite understand. But also the other thing is, even though the oil price gone down in the world market, when I go to put petrol in my car, the petrol in UK has gone down a couple of pence last month or so. Quite interesting. So as far as I'm concerned, the oil price should go down, but it's not. So that's why I trade again. I just like Apple. I just follow the trade, and I'm into oil, trading oil at the moment, and it's go up and just leave it. But sometimes fundamentals say one thing, the market basically say something else, and what you're gonna do just follow the market. And because of this slowdown in trade, I basically just thought, okay, the oil should go down, but it didn't. So it's just a bit weird as far as I'm concerned. The other things I think is not being talked about much by many people is one word: coffee. Coffee has been, going down to a downtrend for a while, but I think because of the Brazil bushfire, it's happening a lot of places in Brazil. It's really hammering, the coffee prices. And I think from August onwards, middle of 2019 is going sideways, so more or less bottom up. And for the last few months, end of August time, it's slowly moving back up. And if you look at the coffee beans trade, it's been going up quite a bit for December, November time frame, and I make quite a bit of money out of that. But it's quite sudden; it just move up, and nobody talks about it. That's the funny part. And And trend follow, I'm definitely the trend follow. The big boys definitely make quite a bit of money from coffee for the last couple of months, and it's quite mind-boggling. Not many people are talking about it. I don't think many people trade or retail investor trading a coffee, but if you do, good luck. And I basically think if coffee continue its trajectory, it's above 200-day 50-day moving average. It's very volatile. And I think that it definitely will continue. And I think for 2020, coffee is definitely one to watch out for. Now I will use the long-term system, the 50, 200-day moving average, because volatility. I mean, one thing I learned from my trading system is, okay, they are trend following, but the short-term 280-hour system is, if you got use that in a volatile market, you get basically shake in and out very quickly, what's called whipsaw, shake all the time. And even in using the Turtle S2 system, I make money out of that one. That seems to work better than the 280R, but I think still the 50 days or 2 days moving average is the best one. And because it's a long-term system, and because I use end of day as well, I don't really care, even though it's delayed by a couple of days, sometimes on the feeds, I don't really care. So long as the general big market is moving in the right direction, I've got a lot more time to play with. So this is what I will definitely looking into and continue to play with the coffee next year. Okay, the next bit I think is US dollar index. I think US dollar has, for end of 2017 to 2018, it was quite weak before. I think it went down to the index went down to 77 or 80 area, and then just continues to shoot back up. And in 2019, it's gone up to as high as 96, 97, 98 area, even almost 99. Couldn't reach 100 yet, and then hobble around for I think the last couple of months, and now it's come back down to 95, 96 area, almost touching 95. And if this continue, I hope it will. I hope it does. Then we will have a couple of play here. I mean, gold, of course, anything that's denominated in dollars will go up. I think that might be one of the reasons why petrol, crude oil, Brent crude, WTI has gone up last couple of months, because it's showing not because the world trade is moving up or there's better demand, but I think because US dollar is going down, it's losing its strength. And you can see that as in US dollar against the euro, against British pounds, and not talk much about again is against maybe New Zealand dollars and Australian dollars. They have been all going up. If you look at all those charts for the last couple of months, there is a slow rising trend line, about 30 degrees, not very high, 20, 30 degrees, not 45 degrees, quite low, but it's moving up. And the price recently for British pounds, which we sort of know, also helped by the UK election, shoot up above 200 days, 50-day moving average. Australian dollar is doing that at the moment, so is the euro. New Zealand dollars against US dollars gone up already, just like the pound, for a couple of months. I think, it's gone up quite a bit. I think from early December, and just move up as well. So if this continue, what we basically see is, it's been reflected in other currencies and gold as well as in silver. I think if US dollars continue to go down, we'll see good play. Definitely good things for gold, because of the problem with the trade between US and China. And the other thing is, if you look at gold, it's basically, general speaking, is if Dow Jones go up, then gold price will go down, but it didn't. So something is going on, as if people are losing faith in the general trade in the market. They think it's too high or something. They just go to buy gold, basically. China has been buying gold all the time, so is India. Has been the tradition that they buy, but even Russia and other European countries, central banks are buying gold now. So the gold price sort of stay well above 1400, basically 1440 and 1480 area, has been more or less sideways for 3-4 months now, and then now it's just break out. And I think going forward, if the US dollar indexes continue to crumble, which I hope it does, I never know. Then you see basically gold go up, silver go up, British pounds against US dollar go up, euro against US dollar go up, Australia against US dollar go up, New Zealand against US dollar go up, which is already more or less doing so now, last couple of months. And I think it'll be a theme for 2020. This will continue. And that, I think a lot of people is going to make loads of money this year in this market if the American dollars index is getting worse. And then if you look at that, one thing I think probably will happen is the US dollars, as the US dollar collapse, if it happens, then I think the American market might not going much higher. I hope it will. I never know, because at the moment I'm trading the three major index, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P 500. Riding up to the upside, but I'm expecting some volatility probably coming back down now. What we get from 2008, isn't it? It's been more or less moved up for 10, 11 years now for these indices, and people keep on saying it will turn back, it will turn down, go into bear market, but it didn't. Just continue to define the market. But I believe one thing about gravity. Gravity applies to everything. It applies to trading as well. Applies to trade prices. Whatever goes up must come down. Nothing go up forever. So if that's happening, definitely hope so. I just hope sometime the market come down. Okay, maybe not the right thing to say, but being trend follower, we trade both. We trade when the trend is up as well as the trend is down. I think it's maybe get ready for a downturn in American market. If the US dollar coming down, that means they will have more import inflation because the weaker dollar. Buying European stuff or Asian stuff will be more expensive, and therefore import inflation. It make American produce more affordable for export, but for import it will have import inflation, and that's probably not very good for the American market in general. And this is just my 2 cents worth. And also, what really ails me is the quantitative easing. The repo rate. People talk about, remember the U.S. Federal Reserve say, we're not going back to quantitative easing. We just, in the repo market, the bank burning money to each other will be a problem, liquidity problem. I just go be, bank of last resort and just provide liquidity. But now, instead of just providing liquidity, it's also buying short year treasury bonds, I think 2 years. And I think it's an effort in trying to manually, invert curve between them 2 years and 10 years, yield curve inversion kind of things like that. But that is what the net result what it's doing is exactly same as quantitative easing. Basically, American government, so Federal Reserve, is pumping liquidity into the financial market by buying, short-term treasury bonds, and then later on they moved, I think as Operation Treats or something, instead of buying short-term treasury, buying 10 or 20 or 30 years treasury bonds, basically just pumping money in the market. So if you look at that, if you just go do a Google search, Google and say U.S. Fed index or something, I think U.S. Fed curve, you see that basically the U.S. Fed balance sheets curve. Okay, you can see the U.S. Fed balance sheets have been going up since around October time, when the Federal Reserve come on and say, look, I am providing liquidity here, and to the market in America, and the U.S. basically balance sheets going up so quickly last couple of months is staggering. I think when the quantitative easing was up to highest about 4.5 trillions on the U.S. Reserve balance sheet. When they're doing quantitative tightening, which Donald Trump doesn't like, for about a year, it gone back down to like 3 trillion or just about 3 trillion. And since October, it's gone back up from 3 trillion to like almost 4 trillions now, 3.7 or something. It's well worth go out have a look, but it's just like, this is basically the net effect of quantitative easing. American, U.S. Federal Reserve is increasing its balance sheet, pumping money into the market. Now, if all this money flying around in the market, of course the market going out, but also to reflect that the market is basically basically beefed up by the American Federal Reserve. When they do quantitative easing, we go to see 2018, the market's gone down. When they resume the basically stop the tightening, market come back up a bit again. Now we basically we inflate the market. We do through the repo market, and you see the three main agencies in America continue to go up. I mean, this cannot go on forever. I mean, one day it's going to pop, but I don't know when. As far as I'm concerned, this for me as a trend follower is a fat tails event, basically something that only happens once a while, once a blue moon. It's happening now, and I basically just ride the bucket bunko, just ride a trend and just make money. But all good thing comes to an end. So in 2020, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be quite volatile with all the trade talks going on between China and America with the rest of the world. And that's just how I feel is probably going to happen. And I'll just basically, this is my own personal play. I'm going to look at coffee, I'm going to look at gold, I'm going to look at silver, I'm going to look at US dollar against other currencies. So because I'm in UK, I'll look at against British pound, or look at against Australian dollars, against maybe New Zealand dollar, but definitely euros. That kind of thing. Even if you're Southeast Asia, look at US dollar against Singapore dollars has been going down and down and down and down. And I'm sure the against other Southeast Asian currency, I mean the Southeast Asian currency against the US dollar is getting stronger as well. And there's definitely some trades going on to do that. So this is something that's definitely going to be looked at. And I hope you like this podcast, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.